Just ask your dad. Be nice. Obatala, and many other Orisha gods, I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. It is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13 tribes, born here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, in the many languages of our fathers of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Baragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Greetings and words of peace in the many different languages of our fathers. I greet you in peace. Welcome, welcome to the Aton Nation, aka Temple of Mercy Association. We're located at 616 East on 71st Street in Chicago, Illinois. And we welcome you to our edifice live on YouTube and on Facebook. Come on down. You only get 30 minutes live, but you get a whole hour if you're here in person. I am Brother Minister Rahim Chesed Aton, founder of this great movement, along with the co-founder, Brother Minister Omari Jahi Aton, and the First Lady of this movement, Sister Makita Aisha Aton. Today, if you were with us last Sunday, we spoke on who is God. And this is not really part two, but an extension of this dwelling into this understanding of who God is. And the title for this day is, What is God? We went into who he was. Now we want to know what is God. Hopefully I can tell you in less than 30 minutes live. But if you just be with us Wednesday night when we really study it even more, you'll see where I'm going with this. From all of the studies that we've been through, that I've went through and researched from a child up until now, and with this gift that God gave me of the oneness, putting things together and seeing the oneness in the full picture, well, this is what I've come up with. What is God? In our opening, there's one name for God that I want to start with. Please listen to last week's lecture on who is God, because some of the things I say, you're going to have to know who he is before you really understand what he is. But one of those words was Ansof. I don't know if you all heard us say that in our opening. It said known among the Hebrews as Ansof. That was one of the names. And I want to start there when we deal with what is God, because I got to take some things out of your head in order for you to see what it is. Because it's not a he, it's not a she, but it manifests in both. And I don't care what other thing you want to call yourself after that, it's still going to manifest as a he and a she, no matter what. See, but what it is what I want to get to the bottom of. Now, in our opening, you all do know that the Temple of Mercy is an all-inclusive, black conscious, righteous movement. Now, I want to get a word out of that. Conscious, meaning to be woke. That means we are not asleep to what's really going on in this world. We're not asleep to really what the esoteric world is about. We're very much woke. We're very much conscious. And the thing that makes us dwell so deep into that consciousness is being black. Because black, if you will understand the essence, leads you to God. Now let's find out what he is. Let me talk about Ansof real quick. According to what you hear us teach, we say Ansof means the all things and no things at the same time. That it's the all and the nothing. But if you look at the word nothing, it says no thing. And if you see the other part, it says it's all things, but then at the same time, it's no thing at all. Let me show you what it says in the dictionary. It says infinite. That means no end at all. It's understood as being God before any self-manifestation in the production of any spiritual realm. Before any spiritual realm or whatever, Ansof is the self-manifestation. That means to materialize, to come to being, that he brought himself or itself into existence, or it brought itself into expression. Another word for Ansof is the endless one. The endless one. The one. The one. And it can be translated as unending. There is no end. So now, based on that definition, this understanding of what God is, you have to understand for it to be that, there can be no desire. There can be no word. There can be no action emphasized by it. None. No thing. It says the first act of creation, self-withdrawal of God to create an empty space takes place from there. Now, we're talking about him coming into being. I got to get off of this. I can't really explain it because I got to read a lot. Before he gave shape to the world, before it produced any form, it was alone, without form, without resemblance to anything else. Who then can comprehend how it was before the creation? Hence, it is forbidden to lend it any form or similitude, or even to call it by any name, or to indicate it by a single letter or a single point. So when you say YHWH as Yahweh, you still have not gotten into what is God. You still under who? In other words, Ansof signifies the nameless being. All this is the dictionary version. The nameless being. See, as a people and as human beings on this planet, it's hard for us to recognize things we cannot see. And so we have to name everything. We have to see it. And so other religions gave name to this essence. Other religions gave name to what it might be that got our heart beating for however many years we've been alive without a break. No break at all, it's just beating. We had to give a name to whatever it was that got us breathing. We have to give a name to whatever it is out here that what we breathing in, we don't even see it. Tell me you see what you're breathing in. Then when the weather changed to a certain degree, you see some kind of smoke. But you're not breathing in the smoke. You're hearing something, but you can't see it. You can't see hearing. You can't see sound. See, you can't see none of that. So we're looking at the Aton. Now I got to read something real quick again. We call this essence the great mind. The great mind. Cheers. Cheers. You know what I'm talking about. We call this the great mind. And I want to read a couple of things to show you what I mean. Hopefully I can get it out before we close out. When we say the mind of God is no thing, all right? We're not saying it don't exist. We're saying that the mind is not a thing. All right? It's obvious to everyone that the mind or consciousness is not a tangible thing, yet it is the source of all things. At the end of the universe before this one, our ancestors expanded their mind beyond measure until it encompassed the whole universe. That process of expansion caused a contraction of the universe, but really, the universe didn't contract at all. It wasn't reduced at all. But when your mind is expanding, it appears if the universe is contracting. What does that mean? That means if you are backing up, the further you get away from something, the smaller it gets, right? So if your mind is expanding and it's getting too big for the earth, then it goes outside of the earth and it looks like the earth is getting small, but it really isn't. It's not. See? And so this is what this great mind is all about. The only thing that we recognize dealing with this thing that y'all want to call God, because you have to say God so you can get the picture of who God is, that this white cracker made for y'all named Leonardo da Vinci. He wrote how God looked. This man sitting on the throne with lightning on this side and something on that side, big crown on his head, and he's sitting there ruling the world. And his son, Jesus, the white cracker that looks like he's Jesus. And he's not. See, if you want to gain the power back that God gave you before you were created in this form, then you got to know who and what God is. This God I'm telling you about has always been with you. This God that I'm telling you about has been connected to you since you came into the world. But yet, this God that I'm talking about was still around before you got here. and will be around when you leave. Don't matter. This God is in all things and of all things. And the moment you want to see it, you have to create something tangible in order to make you feel comfortable that it even exists. That's a shame, ain't it? But in Toma, we teach that he's in us and outside of us at the same time. But we understand that Yahshua said, in order to begin making contact with it, you have to go inside. So all you people that looks up in the sky for him, every time y'all praying, sorry. The essence of God is up there. But if you want to make contact, you got to go within. You keep pulling up to call God down into you. I don't know what you're receiving, because your own Yahshua said that this temple was the house of God. And if you clean it up, I'll live there. So it's internal. So now you got to close your eyes and let your mind travel. And the same way your mind travels, by knowing how your organs look in your body, you got to know how they look. Then when you close your eyes and you imagine your heart, you imagine your liver, you imagine your kidneys, you know exactly where they are. That means you've traveled to them in your mind. Now, this being the solar system, a small version of the solar system out there. If you know how the planets look, if you know the distance between them, if you know thought travels at 24 billion miles per second, then you've traveled from planet to planet. You've already traveled from universe to universe. That's why pictures are important. You need to look at the pictures of space. You need to look at the pictures of Earths and other planets. You need to look at the pictures of underwater creatures and whatnot. If you want to be the God that God created you to be, a smaller version of himself, you don't travel with this vehicle, you travel with the mind. And thoughts travel. The mind is the vehicle. No, the thought is the vehicle that the mind travels on. They work hand in hand. So, because we are confined with this thought and understanding that we need a picture of something to know that this thing exists. Yeah, we need a picture. We got to have a picture of Jesus or Buddha. We have to have a Farad Muhammad. We have to have a Marcus Garvey or a Noble Drew Ali. See? But to get the essence of God, you would know automatically that you can tap, brothers and sisters, into the mind of Farad and Garvey and Yahshua and Noble Drew Ali. Why? Because minds attract. But now you have to learn how to control this mind. And that's the problem. Most people can't control their mind. And the reason you can't control your mind, because your mind is being led by your desires, and the desires came with this vehicle. This right here. It's like being in a car and it's automatic and it's going where it want to go. Just put the address in. And it goes where it want to go. Well, that's how you will be if you don't control your mind. Your desires will be controlling your mind, and you will be going and doing whatever your desire asks of you to do. And that is not God. It's one of the things that this God made, that the great mind materialized and put it in this flesh. Let's look at some more about the expansion of the mind. Now, since space itself is a substance, and we know we call it dark matter, it means that the mind creates space at the same time that it occupies that very space. If you could take the darkness of your mind, y'all know it's dark in there. It's only light in there when you start thinking. If you go to sleep and don't dream, you don't see nothing. All you see is darkness. If you can will that darkness into a shape and push it outside of your body, that's another being. I'm giving you an understanding of how the great mind that created all these universes created the first beings on this planet with a thought and shaped and carved it using what this is talking about, this substance that we call dark matter, that another group call it ether. But the first beings were created out of that dark consciousness. Why? The only way this being, well, this entity that I'm calling the great mind, the only way that this entity that I'm calling the great mind was going to be able to create himself, to hold the fullness of what its essence is about, was to use the dark matter that it created from its own mind. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Because those beings that he created from the dark matter of its own mind became your Yahweh, your Jehovah. Keep going. Y'all don't want to hear this. And it is powerful because it's part of the great mind. And the more powerful that substance is, the more it can absorb the mind of this great creator. And so now it gets an assignment to be over Earth. Another one gets an assignment to be over the universe. The other one gets an assignment to be over the galaxies. Yahweh died. Allah died. Jehovah dead. I know y'all only like all this. Y'all can question me anytime you get ready. The God that created this is not here. Its mind never died. This great mind split itself in so many different bodies. Look in this room. That great mind is in each and every one of us. It split itself into all of us and trillions of people on this planet. The God you all and we've been serving is the God of war. And he's been running this planet for 6,000 years. All these knights in shining armor and the Ottoman Empire, the Roman Empire, and they decimating humans by the thousands. You see it on certain movies when they finish fighting. It's thousands of dead bodies out there. Thousands. From that time to even right now in Ukraine, over in the Gaza Strip, over in the Congo, bodies strewn everywhere. Killing everything. Bodies everywhere, tsunamis, earthquakes. I know y'all don't want to hear this. The God of the great mind that I serve has nothing to do with it. But the one that he assigned to this planet is responsible. And the one he assigned to this planet has the same attributes as the ones before it. They cry, they laugh, they jealous. Didn't you hear the other one say he was a jealous God? That ain't the one, that one there can't do nothing for me. I know y'all don't like this. And some of y'all might get confused. Because the great mind that I am the essence of don't live on that plane. This God of war has to live out its essence. I'll tell you who that is at a later date. At a later date. What did he say? Oh, so I have about 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Maybe I could read a little bit more. When you start dealing with your mind, when you start dealing with your thoughts, and it's not in a controlled manner, where you got certain things on it where it doesn't get out of hand. When you start learning so much about the unknown, and it becomes known to you, and you can't seem to mix it in with your everyday life and things that you see going on with the television and all inside your phone and everything, and you don't even understand that you're in a matrix and they told you and you still walked in and still stay there. He told you, I'm creating for you a worldwide web. What creature make webs? Catching what? Flies, moths, butterflies, lightweight creatures. So if you still stuck on the internet and can't get off and you think you're a scholar, you're a damn fool. You one of the lightweight creatures. Then he turned around and caught you up in something else called the internet. What do people make nets for? I ain't talking about that net on your head. They made nets to fish, to catch things. I'm never on that computer or anything looking at no one thing all day. I get 15 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that. I get off of it. I go lay down and get some rest. I go back, 10 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that, and I go back. I'm not on no one thing stuck like this. All day. Only thing moving is your eyes with whatever you're looking at. You living in that world and your body out here. What kind of life is that to live? When there's so much out here to live for. But you're too busy living with. You live with your phone, don't you? Cars coming. I seen a person walking across the street like this. And the cars coming. Didn't even stop at the curb and look left and right. Just was gone. Whole world right there. How do you all know that when you die, being on your phone, that your soul or spirit don't go into that phone? I hope y'all think about that. Because that's your trap too. They had a movie out called Lawnmower Man. Y'all need to look at it. Y'all had no idea that was going to be your phone. They told us before it happened. I got 1 minute. We in Toma consider this entity that you all call God to be the great mind. And the mind or thought, which is one and basically the same, travels at 24 billion miles per second. Thought is more powerful than light. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So you don't really want to be a being of light. Let there be light. And all the stuff in the Bible saying Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus was trying to get you beyond the light. Jesus was trying, he said, greater things you'll do. If you understand what I'm trying to teach you, you beyond light. Your mind, your thoughts can travel at 24 billion miles in 1 second. 1 second. Imagine you not projecting your thoughts anywhere. And then you snap out and go crazy, and you're in the crazy house, and it's inside your head traveling at 24 billion miles per second. You crazy as hell, ain't you? Because that's what happened to you. Because you didn't do nothing with it. You got to spend a little time on the internet, spend a little time on the World Wide Web, and spend a lot of time out here. Understand what I just said.
Facebook from 12:30 to 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please feel free to support us with a monetary gift on Cash App at $TOMANATION. Once again, that's $TOMANATION. This will conclude our live stream. The message you have been listening to will continue live here at the Toma headquarters. We thank you, Black family. See you next Sunday. Black Power.
This is the eternal divine spirit. The one that causes all that exists.